Welcome to Golden Memories. I'm Barbara. Here, we revisit the lives of cherished icons whose moments continue to shine through time. Their talent, warmth, and dedication left a lasting impression on audiences everywhere. Join us as we celebrate their journeys across film, music, and culture, honoring memories that remain timeless and forever inspiring. Robert Keredine, born March 24, 1954, grew up in a well-known Hollywood family as the son of actor John Keredine and brother to David and Keith Keredine. Despite his family legacy, he carved out his own identity in the entertainment industry through steady work and a grounded, approachable presence that audiences appreciated. Career breakthrough. He gained widespread recognition in 1984 with Revenge of the Nerds, where his role as Louis Skolnick made him a beloved underdog hero. The film went on to achieve cult status, and his performance helped reshape how unconventional leading characters were seen in Hollywood. Television and Lizzie McGuire. Later in his career, Keredine reached a new generation through television, most notably as Sam McGuire in Lizzie McGuire. His portrayal of a caring and humorous father brought warmth and relatability to the series, making him a comforting presence for young viewers and families alike, and remains one of his most recognized television roles. Tributes and legacy. Following the news of his passing at 71, colleagues and family members shared memories of his kindness and generosity. Hilary Duff and his daughter, Ever Keredine, both reflected on his compassionate nature. He leaves behind a legacy of memorable roles and a lasting impact on audiences across generations in Hollywood and television history. Richard Dmitri was a performer whose work brought quiet depth and familiarity to stage and screen. Born in Yonkers, New York, he developed an early passion for storytelling and later trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, where he refined his craft. His foundation in theater came through off-Broadway and Broadway productions such as Zorba and Lysistrata, shaping him into a disciplined and thoughtful actor. Career on stage and screen. Many audiences came to know him through comedy in the 1980s, where his versatility stood out. He appeared in projects like When Things Were Rotten, Johnny Dangerously, and Let It Ride, often stealing moments with subtle timing rather than loud performance. His ability to shift between characters made him a reliable and engaging presence on screen, admired for enhancing every scene he entered. Legacy and personal life beyond acting, he also contributed as a writer and creative collaborator in television. Later in life, he stepped away from public attention, focusing on family and a quieter life. Those who knew him describe him as warm, humble, and steady, with his greatest impact felt not only in his work but in the relationships he built off-screen. Actor Patrick Muldoon has passed away at the age of 57 in Los Angeles. He was widely known for his work in popular television shows of the 1990s, where he became a recognizable and admired screen presence. His career left a lasting impression on audiences who followed his performances across both daytime and primetime dramas. Television success and early fame. Muldoon gained significant popularity through his roles in long-running series such as Melrose Place and Days of Our Lives. His performances helped him build a loyal fan base and established him as one of the notable television actors of his time. His on-screen charm and steady presence made him a familiar figure during a defining era of television storytelling. Film roles and continued career beyond television. Muldoon also appeared in films, including the cult science fiction movie Starship Troopers, where he starred alongside Denise Richards. In later years, he continued working in the industry with new projects, including the upcoming action film Dirty Hands. He also shared updates about producing future projects, featuring actors such as Chris Hemsworth and Taron Egerton, reflecting his ongoing involvement behind the scenes. A lasting presence in entertainment. Throughout his career, those who worked with Muldoon often described him as energetic and committed to his craft. His work across television and film helped define a memorable period in entertainment history. While his passing marks the end of his journey, His contributions remain part of the cultural landscape of 1990s screen acting and beyond. 25 years ago this week, the world lost Joey Ramone, the unmistakable voice of Ramones, who passed away at the age of 49. As the frontman of the Ramones, he helped strip rock music down to its most direct and energetic form, shaping what would become the foundation of punk. Emerging from the underground music scene of New York City, the band's early performances in small clubs carried a raw urgency that stood apart from the polished sounds of the time. That simplicity, fast, loud, and emotionally direct, became their signature and went on to influence generations of musicians across the world. What began as a local movement soon grew into a global cultural shift, with fans finding in their music a sense of honesty and release. In 2002, the Ramones were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, a recognition that cemented their lasting place in music history. Even today, Joey's voice and spirit continue to echo through modern rock and punk, heard in every distorted chord and stripped-down lyric that values feeling over perfection. His legacy remains a reminder that music does not need to be complex to be powerful. It only needs to be true, immediate, and human. Alan Osmond passed away at the age of 76 after living for nearly 4 decades with multiple sclerosis. As the eldest member of the Osmonds, he helped shape a musical legacy that reached audiences around the world, especially during the group's rise in the 1970s. While his public identity began in music, those who knew his story often point to something deeper: his steadiness, creativity, and the quiet way he supported the people around him. Living with strength over time. For much of his later life, Alan lived with the gradual challenges of multiple sclerosis. Instead of being defined by limitation, he adapted with patience and acceptance. The energy of his earlier years gave way to a slower, more reflective rhythm, where resilience showed itself in everyday persistence. His experience became less about loss and more about learning how to live meaningfully within change. A life focused on others. Even as his physical abilities shifted, Alan continued to contribute in ways that mattered to him. He remained connected to music, family, and community, offering encouragement and presence where he could. Those around him often remembered his steady kindness and the way he valued connection over recognition. His approach to life reflected a simple but powerful idea. Purpose doesn't always fade. It can take new forms. A legacy that continues. Forward. Alan Osmond's story is not only about a career in music, but also about how a person can face long-term challenge with dignity and care for others. His journey leaves behind a reminder that meaning is built through relationships, persistence, and compassion. In that sense, his legacy continues not just in recordings or memories, but in the lives influenced by his example. For more than 2 decades, Leonardo DiCaprio stood at the center of a strange contradiction. He was one of the most recognized faces in the world, a performer praised by critics and adored by audiences, yet repeatedly overlooked when it came to the industry's most coveted award, the Academy Awards. The narrative grew louder with each passing year. How could someone so talented remain empty-handed while others succeeded sooner? Over time, this wasn't just about trophies anymore. It became a story people projected onto him. The public turned his losses into jokes, memes, and debates, while he continued to work, quietly pushing himself further with every role. But beneath that surface was a deeper tension. What happens when the world believes you've already made it, yet you still feel like something is missing? That question shaped not just his career choices, but the intensity with which he approached his craft, turning every performance into something that felt like more than just acting. It felt like proof. Growing up, far from the spotlight. Long before fame, Leonardo DiCaprio grew up in a part of Los Angeles that looked nothing like the glamorous image often associated with Hollywood. His early years were shaped by financial struggle, instability, and a constant awareness of how fragile security could be. Raised primarily by his mother, Irmelin Indenberken, he witnessed firsthand the sacrifices required just to get by. She worked tirelessly, often stretching limited resources to ensure he had opportunities she never did. Their lives revolved around persistence, long bus rides, countless auditions, and the quiet hope that something would eventually change. His father, George DiCaprio, offered a different influence, introducing him to art and unconventional thinking. But stability was harder to come by. These early experiences didn't just shape his ambition, they defined it. Success, for him, was never about luxury. It was about escape, about ensuring that the struggles he witnessed growing up would not define his future. The early struggle to be seen. Breaking into acting was anything but smooth for Leonardo DiCaprio. As a child actor, he faced constant rejection, sitting in crowded audition rooms where everyone seemed just as determined and often more polished. Casting directors didn't see a star, they saw another hopeful kid trying to fit into an already competitive system. For years, he took small roles, commercials, and television appearances that paid the bills but offered little creative satisfaction. Even when he landed a recurring role on Growing Pains, it came with its own limitations. While it brought visibility, it also risked placing him in a box as just another television personality. Behind the scenes, he was working relentlessly, auditioning for more challenging roles and searching for opportunities that would allow him to prove he was capable of more. Those early struggles weren't glamorous, but they built resilience. They taught him that recognition wasn't guaranteed, and that persistence, often in the face of indifference, was the only way forward. A breakthrough that changed everything. The turning point came in the early 1990s, when Leonardo DiCaprio began taking on roles that demanded more emotional depth. His performances in films like This Boy's Life and What's Eating Gilbert Grape revealed a level of commitment that surprised both critics and audiences. Acting alongside established stars such as Robert De Niro and Johnny Depp, he held his own with a confidence that belied his age. His portrayal of a young man with developmental challenges in Gilbert Grape earned him his first Oscar nomination, signaling that he was no longer just a promising newcomer. He was a serious actor. Yet even at that stage, success felt incomplete. The nomination opened doors, but it didn't guarantee stability or long-term respect. It simply raised expectations, setting the stage for a career that would be defined as much by what he achieved as by what continued to elude him. Fame that became a cage. When Titanic was released, everything changed overnight for Leonardo DiCaprio. The film became a global phenomenon, and he became its face, a symbol of romance, youth, and cinematic spectacle. But the kind of fame that followed was overwhelming. It wasn't gradual or manageable, it was immediate and all-consuming. Suddenly, he wasn't just an actor, he was an icon, a figure constantly under scrutiny. While the film's success cemented his place in Hollywood history, it also created a new challenge: being taken seriously again. Many began to see him as a heartthrob rather than a performer, and the roles offered to him reflected that perception. Behind the scenes, he struggled with the loss of privacy and the pressure to maintain an image that didn't fully represent who he was. Fame had given him everything he once wanted, but it also took away something equally valuable: the freedom to define himself on his own terms. Reinvention through risk and collaboration. Determined not to be defined by one role, Leonardo DiCaprio sought out projects that challenged both him and the audience's perception of him. His collaboration with Martin Scorsese became a turning point, beginning with Gangs of New York and continuing through films like The Aviator and The Departed. These roles demanded intensity, vulnerability, and a willingness to step away from the polished image that fame had created. With each performance, he pushed further, exploring complex characters shaped by ambition, obsession, and internal conflict. Critics responded positively, acknowledging his growth and range. Yet, Despite the acclaim, the awards he sought remained just out of reach. This period of reinvention was crucial. It proved that he was more than a product of one successful film. But it also reinforced a frustrating pattern. No matter how much he evolved, recognition from the industry's highest platform seemed uncertain. The narrative of the almost winner. As the years passed, Leonardo DiCaprio became associated with a narrative that was difficult to escape. The talented actor who kept coming close but never quite winning. Films like Inception, Django Unchained, and The Wolf of Wall Street showcased his versatility and commitment, yet the pattern persisted. The conversation around his work began to shift. Instead of focusing solely on his performances, people began to focus on the absence of an Oscar. Social media amplified this narrative, turning it into a cultural phenomenon filled with jokes and commentary. While much of it was lighthearted, it also overshadowed the substance of his work. For an actor who had dedicated his life to his craft, this shift was significant. The discussion was no longer just about what he did. It was about what he didn't have, and that absence began to define how many people viewed his career. The cost of proving a point. By the time The Revenant came along, Leonardo DiCaprio approached the role with a level of intensity that reflected years of built-up pressure. The film's production was physically and emotionally demanding, requiring him to endure extreme conditions and push his limits in ways few roles ever had. His performance was widely praised, not just for its technical execution, but for the raw effort behind it. When he finally won the Oscar in 2016, it was seen as a long overdue recognition of his talent. Yet the moment was more complex than simple celebration. After years of striving, the achievement didn't necessarily bring the clarity or fulfillment one might expect. Instead, it raised a different question. What comes after you achieve something you've been chasing for so long? The answer wasn't immediate, and it highlighted a deeper truth. External validation, no matter how significant, doesn't always resolve internal uncertainty. A life beyond the screen. Outside of acting, Leonardo DiCaprio has devoted significant energy to environmental activism, founding the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. Through this work, he has supported conservation efforts, climate research, and awareness campaigns on a global scale. His commitment has been widely recognized, but it has also brought scrutiny, particularly regarding the balance between advocacy and personal lifestyle. This tension reflects a broader challenge faced by many public figures: how to align influence with personal choices in a way that feels authentic. Despite the criticism, his contributions have had a tangible impact, demonstrating that his ambitions extend beyond personal success. Still, like many aspects of his life, this work exists within a complex space where intention, perception, and reality don't always align perfectly. Success, loneliness, and the unanswered question. Today, Leonardo DiCaprio stands as one of the most accomplished actors of his generation. His career is filled with iconic performances, and his influence extends far beyond cinema. Yet his story raises a question that goes beyond fame or awards. What does success actually mean when everything you once chased is within reach? For all the recognition, there remains a sense that something more personal, connection, stability, or lasting fulfillment, exists outside the spotlight he has spent his life in. His journey is not a simple story of triumph or struggle. It is a reflection of how ambition and achievement can coexist with uncertainty. In the end, his life serves as a reminder that success is rarely as complete as it appears from the outside, and that even those who seem to have everything are still searching for something more.